Let's start a new project. I'm going to call it example 17. And don't create. This is the old stuff we did before. Let me erase it. Okay. File new, Java class. And I'm going to call this one, we're talking about methods here, so let's begin with the void method. I'm going to call this void method. Public static, to show you what the void method does. So we use the void method when the method does not return a value to the main program. That's when we use it, when you don't want to return anything to the main program. So for example, let's say I have two numbers. So let's do this. We have two numbers. And we want to write a method to display the larger number. That's really what the goal of this one. So if you think about it, I don't have to send anything back to the main program. If I was to tell the computer which number is larger and somehow send it back to the main program, it will not be a void. That method will be called something else. The type will not be void here. So let's begin by going import. And I have only 36% on my computer, so maybe I'll go faster. Import. And let's use the scanner, java.util.scanner. And so in the main program, I'm going to take two numbers. So let's define the scanner here. I don't like that line, so I'll delete it. Scanner. I'm going to call it input equals new scanner system.in. System.in. I don't know what happened here. System.in. Okay. So let's get the first number, sys0. Enter the first number. Enter the first number. And now let me define, let's just use integer values, int num1 equals input, because you're going to read that from the scanner, dot next int semicolon. And if we repeat both of these, we'll get both numbers. Copy that, paste it, and now will be enter the second number here, and this will be number 2 here. And now I'm good. So I get both numbers. Now I'm going to send both of these values. You know what? Let me do first the first method, which I'm not going to send anything to the program. So here we go. So this method to display a message, just to say welcome. So let me begin. Public, static, and this is not going to return anything. And it's not going to take anything from the main program. I'm going to call void because there's no return. Let's give this method a name. We're going to call it the welcome message. And it does not expect anything from my main program. Curly bracket to open it, curly bracket to close it. Sys_o. Welcome to my program. And maybe after you write that, sys_o actually, I just thought of a different idea. Enter, or we just said this program will give the larger of two numbers. So that's what the program does, and maybe I'll do one more line. Sys_o put a dotted line. That's good. So now, if you want to call this method, notice it doesn't expect anything, and because it's void, the way you call it just by typing the name of the method. Well, the name of the method is welcome, and open parentheses with nothing in the parentheses. I want you to see there's nothing in them. I put a space so you get to see it. So if I run the program right now, it's actually going to ask you for the first number, ask you for the second number, then it's going to print this message because the way you listed them there. So if you want to put this one first, do the welcome first, and ask for the numbers, that's fine. Maybe I'll put a space here between them to look nice. Oh, not here. Above it. There we go. So I'm not sure if I want to put this one first or ask for the numbers first. Just preference. I'll leave it the way it is. Enter the first number. Let's say it's 15. Enter the second number is 74. Then here's my welcome to my program. This program will give the larger of the two numbers. I forgot the. So, but now I got to make it do the larger of the two numbers. The two numbers. Here we go. Good. So now I'm going to make another method. And this method, again, does not return anything. It's just going to give me the larger of the two number. Larger. But if you're going to ask this method to give you the, I'm going to call it larger. That's why I use larger there. So I have to give it both numbers. I have to send number 1, comma, number 2 to my method. I'm going to send both of these numbers, and I want the method larger actually to go through it and tell me which one is the larger. So here we go. Let's write the method larger. Notice the first method, that's the first one, that's the end of it. Let's put the second method. Here's the main method. See the main method? There's one closing for the whole program. That's at the end. That's always going to be there, an extra one. So here we go. Method to display the larger number. So let's call it public. I could have called private. There's a difference between public and private. So just from the name public, that means any of these programs can use it. Private's only really what you have right there. But we'll stick with public for now. We'll get to that later. Public, static, void, there is no return. And I'm going to, this method is called larger. That's the name of it. I'm going to be sending two numbers, integer. That's the first one called, you got to define it. I'm going to call it number 1, comma, integer, and number 2. And the curly bracket to open that, the curly bracket to close it. So immediately when you call this one, the value for number 1 will be dropped in N1. The value for number 2 will be dropped in N2. Make sure that if these are integer, these have to be integer. You can't have integer here and have double here. There'll be a problem. And the number that you put there is going to go in the first one because that's the first one. And the second one here is going to go in the second spot right there. So check to see if what? If number 1 is bigger than number 2, sys_o, the larger number is and let's put that plus sign and it's number 1. If it's equal, it doesn't really matter because they're equal. So you don't have to put larger or equal to. Else, sys_o number 2. Copy. And this will be number 2. And my program is done. I can read two numbers and the program will tell me which one is larger. I can also just assign value larger. Can you tell me which one is bigger, 22 or 53? Which one is larger, 17 or 8? Which one? So all these actually, once I put a semicolon here, we call this method. We plug in the 22 in the first one, 53 in the second one. This will tell me which one is larger. The next time you run it, 17 goes into the first one, 8 goes into the second one, and this one tells me which one is larger. Forgot to save it. So the first two numbers, you have to enter them, 77 and 18. Well, obviously 77 is larger. Here we go. The larger is 77. Then out of these two numbers, notice, let me scroll it down here. I keep forgetting. 53 is bigger than 22. That's why you saw 53. And 17 is bigger than 8. That's why you see 17 here. So that's what the void means you're not returning anything to the main program. You can send values to the method, but you're not getting anything back. So what will happen if you want to get something back? Well, that's the next video.